In today's video, we'll be exploring a specific type of water body and what's in them, like this fascinating river under a river, and a rather unexpected visitor. First though, let's meet a brightly colored relative of the regular dolphins with number 10, pink dolphin. When the rains fall in South America in the spring, the Amazon River and its tributaries begin to overflow their banks. Thousands of square kilometers of rainforest are eventually inundated, resulting in a massive tree-canopied sea. The Amazon River dolphin, or boto, swims in a seasonal sea, which is present for half of the year. Botos have the typical dolphin smile, as well as bulbous foreheads and long, slender beaks, unlike their marine counterparts. Males in particular can be pink. Scar tissue from hard games or fighting over conquest is thought to be responsible for the coloration. Although Amazon pink river dolphins are well known for their pink color, they were not born that way. Dolphins are born gray and gradually turn pink as they age. Male dolphins are noticeably pinker than female dolphins. This is assumed to be due to scar tissue caused by harsh play or fighting over conquest, like I said. Their final hue, however, can be altered by their behavior, capillary placement, food, and exposure to sunshine as well, with brighter pinks receiving more female attention. The markings range from complete flamingo pink to gray with occasional pink dots. Fun fact, these dolphins, like humans, can blush a brighter pink when they're excited. Number 9. Japanese giant salamander. Behold the Japanese giant salamander, often known as the giant pepperfish or osanoshuo, which I'm pretty sure I mispronounced. When threatened, they can exude a potent peppery odor. They're Japan's largest living amphibian and the world's second largest salamander. Now, you might be wondering, how giant exactly are the Japanese giant salamanders? Well, the National Zoo estimates that these primitive-looking amphibians weigh roughly 55 pounds and are 5 feet long. This, combined with its big mouth and unusual features, give it a somewhat intimidating presence. They have an incredible ability to burrow into the riverbed rocks, something they do head on. And given their overall size, you gotta wonder how they get around there. Because when they do reappear, they do so head first. They're nocturnal animals after all. Because they lose their gills when they're extremely young, they must wake up during the day to breathe. They achieve this by rising to the surface to breathe. They can also absorb it through their skin in highly oxygenated, swiftly moving water. It's an interesting experience to be in the water with these creatures. However, it involves lengthy periods of inactivity. This is because while they sleep in the riverbed rocks, you must patiently wait on the surface. Number 8. Underwater river. Here's something for you if you've been waiting for a little inspiration to strike before taking those scuba diving classes. Visit Cenote Angelita, or Little Angel in Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, and then prepare for a dive unlike any other. A 10 to 15 minute journey south of Tulum will take you to the Cenote Angelita, an expert scuba diving cenote or water-filled cave that shelters a bizarre surprise. You'll find an underwater river that flows through the ocean. You might be thinking, how's that possible? Well, when the bedrock of limestone collapses, it sinks and forms a pit. This pit then fills with a mixture of fresh groundwater and saltwater, acting as a reservoir. When organic matter decomposes in the trench, it creates a halocline, which is a cloud of hydrogen sulfide. This separates the fresh water at the top from the salt water below. Divers can swim directly through this cloud, which has the appearance of a flowing body of water. With fallen leaves and branches bordering the river, you can't help but feel like you're in a mythical forest. Number 7. Stingray Birth. The Fishium team delicately unfurled a net beneath the body of a stingray before safely ensconcing it in the folds of the heavy-duty netting when the massive prehistoric stingray broke to the surface. The river monster was transferred to the riverbank. This is where Dr. Nantaika Chansu of the Chulalongkorn University Stingray Research Team in Bangkok examined the stingray thoroughly. The study team conducted various scientific tests on the stingray as the cameraman expertly filmed occurrences. While the giant freshwater stingray was being handled carefully in the river's margins, the huge and plainly pregnant female surprisingly gave birth. This was all in front of the cameras, mind you. A closer look with ultrasound technology revealed that the huge pregnant stingray was carrying another young stingray who was clearly near birth. Because the stingray was pregnant, it was decided not to weigh it or subject it to any undue physical stress. The prehistoric river monster was reported to weigh between 185 and 195 kilograms and to have a wingspan of just over 2 meters. The ancient giant freshwater stingray was almost 3 meters long, having a particularly deep and thick body. The ray was then promptly released to the tidal river after the pregnant stingray showed promising indications of recuperation and was carrying more unborn offspring inside its gigantic frame. Number 6. Matamata Turtle. The Matamata is a big freshwater turtle found in South America. It has a triangular, flattened head with several tubercles and skin flaps, as well as a horn on its long tubular snout. The rectangular carapace of the Matamata is brown or black in hue. The plastron is shrunk, narrowed, hingeless, shorter in front, and severely notched at the back with small bridges. These may be intended to make the turtle look like a piece of bark, camouflaging it from potential predators. The plastron and bridges range in color from cream to yellow to brown. On adults, the head, neck, tail, and limbs are grayish-brown. Hatchlings have a pink to reddish hue on the underside of their carapaces and plastrons, which fade as they mature. Each forefoot is equipped with 5 webbed claws. Males have longer, thicker tails and concave plastrons than females. Matamatas, although being an aquatic species, are not well adapted to swimming in open water. They're more adapted to strolling through the muddy beds of shallow pools of water, which are littered with leaf and plant debris. Adults rarely leave the bottom of shallow ponds and streams, but hatchlings and juveniles can swim awkwardly. Number 5. Toxic Spill. The Ridge Valley, which sits in the shadow of the craggy 14,000-foot plus San Juan mountain range, is where the families have drawn their lifeblood from the Animas River for decades. That water has been utilized to grow hay, feed a grass-fed cow herd, and farm organic vegetables as well. But after the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, and its contractor unintentionally breached a dam wall while conducting an investigation at a gold mine near Silverton, Colorado, the water glowed orange and was contaminated with heavy metals and poisons. The orange nastiness is a metal cocktail containing cadmium, arsenic, lead, copper, manganese, and other elements. The EPA published data suggesting that it had dumped more than 3 million gallons of toxic sludge into the Cement Creek, a tributary of the Animas River, more than 3 times its previous estimate. Arsenic levels were 300 times normal at their highest, and lead levels were 3,500 times normal. According to officials, those levels have reduced significantly since the plume passed across the area. Number 4. River Stour Shark. The uncommon sighting of a shark in the River Stour amazed a woman who saw it. On July 2nd, 2022, Emma Tella spotted the meter-long smoothhound in the tidal portion of the Thames in Mannington Tree, Essex. It was a truly strange sight, and I was amazed, she claimed, adding, "I even messaged my husband to tell him, but he didn't believe me." According to the Essex Wildlife Trust, smoothhound sharks prefer shallow water. The dark gray creature was swimming near to the shore and appeared unfazed by a family paddleboarding. It stayed around the area, which is popular with swimmers and boaters, throughout the afternoon, making regular appearances with its dorsal fin above the water's surface. Mrs. Tella, a town resident, stated, "People first spotted the shark late in the morning and spent the afternoon swimming around where we were." She said that the creature didn't seem to stress at all and was simply around, so she decided to film it. With that, though, it's now time for the day's best pick. We'll be taking a look at this huge catch and what others say is a possible explanation of Nessie. Find out more about this creature next with number 3, Monster Catfish. One of the world's most renowned Nessie hunters has declared that he no longer believes in the mythology of a dinosaur-like creature roaming the depths of a Scottish lake. A man who gave up his job, house, and girlfriend to spend the last few years looking for the Loch Ness Monster has come to the conclusion that it's most likely an extremely huge catfish. After over 25 years of searching for evidence of the mythological cryptid, Steve Feldham's search for the Loch Ness Monster has come to an end. Feldham believes he's reached the conclusion of a long path of realization after selling all of his possessions and leaving his life behind in 1991 to set the Guinness World Record for his relentless vigil at the Scottish lake shore. He now suspects that the monster that's frequently thought to be a modern dinosaur relative is actually a very large Wells catfish. The Wells catfish is estimated to grow to be as long as 16 feet and as heavy as 800 pounds. This is put in the same relative size range of the long-extinct plesiosaur. That one's frequently mentioned as a plausible explanation, or at the very least a look-alike for Nessie. Now, if a 13 to 16 foot catfish isn't a monster, I don't know what is. Number 2. Sturgeon. According to the company that planned the fishing excursion, a giant sturgeon captured near Lelut, BC on Father's Day may be the largest ever landed on that stretch of the Fraser River. The roughly 700-pound fish was believed to be 110 years old by River Monster Adventures. It was around 10 feet long with a girth of 57 inches. Alberta hunters Steve Uckland and Mark Boise went on the trip with guides Nick McCabe and Tyler Speed. They had caught a few sturgeons earlier in the weekend, but none were as large as the one they had caught, after a 2-hour, 2-kilometer upstream fight. White sturgeons are North America's largest freshwater fish, measuring up to 14 feet long and weighing up to 680 kilos. White sturgeons, according to the Fraser River Sturgeon Conservation Society, can live for more than 150 years. Because this sturgeon had not previously been tagged, officials think that it was caught for the first time. The guides allegedly combed the river with sonar technology to assist fishermen in catching the biggest catch possible. Number 1. Devil's Kettle. Several waterfalls can be found at Judge C.R. Magny State Park on Minnesota's north shore of Lake Superior, just a few kilometers south of the Canadian border. Caitlin Schneider of the Mental Floss explains that one of them has perplexed geologists and hikers for decades. This is because the water simply disappears once it falls. The Brule River runs through the park, falling 800 feet in 8 miles on its approach to the lake. A thick knuckle of rhyolite, or a volcanic rock, divides the river at Devil's Kettle Falls. One side of the river flows over the rocks like a normal waterfall, but no one knows what happens to the other half of the river, which falls into a deep abyss. The disappearance of the river remains a mystery. If you want to see it for yourself, you'll need to hike for a mile and climb 200 steps, but it should be worthwhile regardless of whether you think you can solve it or not. See you all next time!